to the Non-Traditional Podcast.
Welcome.
Here we are. Episode 1. Here we are. We are at the beginning. We are at the beginning.
What a moment.
A long time coming. It's been a while, but here we are. But yes, welcome to the Non-Traditional Podcast. I'm Anastasia.
I'm Jenn. I'm really excited. I really loved this episode. Obviously, it holds a special place in our hearts because it's number 1, and Danielle was such an awesome guest, and obviously somebody that we both look up to and a friend of yours.
Yes. So Danielle Brooks of Orange is the New Black fame is our first guest. I worked with her when I was a production assistant on season 2 and season 3 of Orange is the New Black. So we go back way back. And it's really funny because she was the first person I ever talked to about this idea of this podcast way back then. So it's only fitting that she is our very first guest. I do have to preface though, you are listening to this, June 1st. Our world is different. This episode was actually recorded back in April, kind of at the beginning of all of this. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's been that long. But so we recorded this episode back in April, and we were definitely in a different place in terms of the health crisis that has been going on now is kind of sort of coming to, I guess, the tail end of it. I don't know.
I'm not even going to say
it? I know, right? You don't want to jinx it.
Top news stories. At least 100,000 people in the U.S. have died of COVID-19. This just popped up on my screen.
Oh my goodness.
Is reading us for filth.
Yep. Yes, she is.
Terrible.
She is. So that's the situation we're in. We're starting a podcast remotely from home. It's not the ideal way to do it. I've definitely learned a lot along the way, picked up a lot of audio visual skills, I mean, I work in the film industry, but I work behind the scenes.
I am a spectator here, to be honest. I have been listening to these interviews as if I am a podcast listener and taking notes and gathering information. I mean, all of the guests are amazing in their own right and just really inspiring. I end up leaving each episode feeling ready to roar.
But I think that is... then we're onto something. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to create a podcast that I would listen to. Mm-hmm. And we definitely have talked to so many cool people that you just are like, really? Let me write that down. Say that again.
Yes. I think we both had a moment. I can't remember the guest. So we both had a moment where we just felt like I would listen to that right after recording. And I think that's how I knew we were on the right track.
I actually did. I mean, I have to edit the episodes. So, but it's definitely, we've had some great moments, some definitely sort of like, let me write that down moments. I'm so happy that we can finally put this out in the world and bring this to people. And the main goal for me with this is I hope you listen. I hope you're entertained, but I also hope you get some, gems out of these episodes. You take something from them and you go out to the world and you're like, you know what? I got this. I can do this. Whatever that is, I'm hoping they inspire you, like give you that little, kick in the
butt. At one point I claimed I was going to run a marathon. I would like to strike that from the record.
No, it's on tape and you're going to hear it.
Spoiler alert. I have not
Spoiler.
Fast forward to the end of the season. I have not run a marathon.
Anywho, welcome friends. This is the first episode of Non-Traditional. Here is our interview with Danielle Brooks.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey y'all, what's up?
What's going on?
Oh, you look so great. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Y'all know I'm a new mama, so
congratulations.
Lack of sleep is real. What's
I
up?
can imagine. Oh, just trying to figure out this whole new situation we're in.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. I know, right?
So my first question for you is, what is your earliest memory of what you wanted to be when you grew up?
My earliest memory of what I wanted to be. I think I kind of already knew it pretty early. I knew that acting was something I wanted to always incorporate in my life since I was like 6 for my first play at church. I did a nativity play, and just the response from that play as a kid, being validated and people saying you were so good, excited me. And then from there, I think it wasn't until I saw like Countess Vaughn on Moesha and the Parkers. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I could actually do this. Like, there's a place for me somewhere in this business. I don't know how to get there yet, but she got there and she looks like me. And so that was exciting for me. So I think it was the combination of having the validation of like, this is a gift that you've been given, incorporated with seeing representation, you know, of someone that looks like me. And then luckily for me, also having multiple avenues to get there. So in Greenville, where I grew up, South Carolina, there were a lot of arts programs, you know, for young kids and stuff to get involved in. So that's what I think brought me there.
You know, that's really great. From a very early age, you kind of honed in on what you wanted to do. Acting is not something that they're not clear paths. Like if I want to be a doctor, it's like, okay, there are the steps, you know, high school, college, med school. How did you go on to, like, what steps did you take to sort of say, I want to be an actor? These are the steps I took to get there.
Well, I kind of took the traditional acting route, which I guess there's not really, if I could say there was a traditional way of doing it, I think I took that route, which was go to school. I went to school for it. So I started out at a normal high school. And then my mom found this program called the Governor's School for Arts and Humanities, which I studied on campus, lived on campus, auditioned for it as if it was like a college. It was very much like a mini conservatory for high schoolers. Right. And I went there for 2 years. And then from there, they trained me to like, I didn't even know what a monologue was. I had no idea the basics at all. But they trained me and taught me those things. And from there, I was introduced to the colleges. They had something called Unifieds, where you would go to, at the time it was Chicago, and the school would like take their students, wherever school you were. If you were in, I don't know, Wisconsin to North Carolina to South Carolina, wherever it was, the high school students would meet in Chicago to audition for all of these colleges. And I think they still have it too. And so, yeah, I auditioned for like 5 schools. There I got into all but one I was waitlisted for.
I still feel in some type of way about that.
I was a little salty. But then came to choose Juilliard. Studied there for 4 years.
Light work.
Just light work, you know. And then from there, that's when it was like, whoa, this isn't traditional. I don't know what to do. Because I think what people forget is that Juilliard teaches you how to be a great actor. You're the best actor that they can teach you to be. They give you the skills for that, the tools for that, but they don't teach you how to audition. They don't teach you how to prepare for the real world. Wow. So I came out at 21, not having a resume to get a regular job, not knowing how to make money until that acting job came around. So you definitely had to kind of go to street smarts. Right. You know? Yeah, so I acted my way to everything from working at a restaurant. I kind of fibbed on my resume to get that job. It was a horrible waitress. But I smiled my way through it. And, I was a dog walker, and I don't know anything about dogs. I just kind of grinded. I just made it work. Braided hair. I did all kind of odd jobs, but jobs that would serve me to get to my purpose.
Right.
So they were all jobs that I could have flexibility in what I was doing.
Yeah.
So that I could audition, so I could memorize, so I could look for another job. It was always flexibility, babysitting. And then things started to fall into place from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that you did all right.
Thank you, Jesus.
So, amen. So what, along the way, what is something in that path that you considered maybe a failure at the time that somebody else might have considered a failure that led you to your current success? That, we all have those moments where we say like, I should have got that. But if you landed that role, if you landed that job, you might not have been where you were. So what's something like that that happened to you?
There's too many.
Right.
There's way too many. I mean, there's so many. Starting from the beginning, when I first had like my first TV audition, I auditioned for this guy named Bernie Telsey, and he's cast everything from Color Purple to Rent, the movie, to Little Mermaid. I mean, everything you could think of, he's kind of had his hands in some good stuff. And I was auditioning for a new pilot, and the breakdown was very simple. I mean, when it came to, it was like one line, but the breakdown was like some gothic girl that was a nurse. And
yes.
it described her as having like piercings in her nose and stuff. And I was like, this is cool. Like, I'm going to be this person that I'm totally not. I'm excited. Because I had just come out of Juilliard, where I had been taught that there's nothing I can't do. I was playing Queen Elizabeth. Granted, it was a comedy, but like I was playing her. Like I got the opportunity to like play men and just anything at different ages. So I was looking forward to this audition. I wore these like glasses, and I put fake ring in my nose.
Yes.
Other stuff, and I get in the audition, and I got nervous because I had never been in that situation before, and the fake nose piercing fell out in the middle of the audition. He was like, take off the glasses because there's a glare in the camera. All these things are happening, and I just couldn't remember the one line I was supposed to remember. And I was so embarrassed. And I left that room, and I stayed in the waiting room. Well, I kind of went to the bathroom, and I was like, God, I don't know what to do. I can't let them think like this is my best. I know I can do better. I'm not being myself. And so I had gotten the courage to say, you know what, I'm going back in there. Forget it. I'm going back in there. And so as soon as I was about to approach the door, Telsey, the casting director, comes out, and he comes straight to me. He's like, Danielle, look, I've seen your work at Juilliard, and you're much better than this. Just be yourself. Let go of all the stuff that you got going on, and just be you. And I was like, oh, thank God for that direction, and thank God for that second chance to go in there and be myself. And so I went in the room, and I let go of all this whole character that I thought they wanted, because half the time they don't know what they want. And I was myself. I had improv, which like helped me out a lot to just relax. And I booked the job, and that was my first job out of school. The pilot didn't make it, unfortunately, but it was a good lesson for me to just always kind of stay true to you. And if it's a puzzle piece, a puzzle, and you hope to be a part of the puzzle piece, and if you're not, that's okay, because there's another puzzle that's being built somewhere else, or you can create your own at this point, and so that's what I've come to realize with time, that it's okay to not be the right fit for everybody, because the stuff that comes to you is going to be so unique and perfect and perfectly matched for who you are.
A word. That was a word.
Obviously, anyone listening to this knows you from one show.
Right.
They know you from Orange is the New Black. it was a big part of your career. It's not the only part of your career. How have you, coming off a show that was so popular, your character was one of the most popular characters on the show. How do you end a show like that and go into the world and say, well, I can do other things?
Yeah.
And how do you break, especially in our business where, you know, we're so easy to put you in a box and be like, well, that's your box. Live in your box, be successful in your box. How do you break out of that and say, actually, I can do a lot more. I am a lot more than that.
Yes, that's a great question. Do it. Just do it. You got to show them. I think, you know, a part of where I'm at in my career is also like aligning yourself with good people on your team, meaning your agents, managers, whoever is helping you get those jobs, to be on the same page and to know what you want to do. So letting them know, hey, look, I know that I've been known for this girl over here, but I want to do this. And if they don't respect that, then finding other people that do understand what you're trying to do. So that's number one, is having that support system of people that are going to help you to not stay in this box. So that's been a big thing for me. But when I say just do it, I mean, for me, when I was in Orange is the New Black, I was also doing Color Purple. So the world also got to see me in another light, to know that I'm a theater girl and that, you know, I can play, you know, roles that are period pieces, that I can, you know, be something other than what Tasty was. So I think that kind of like helped to kind of already shake things up a little bit before Orange ended, to kind of like let people know, okay, look, I know I got 2 more years on this show, but there's some other things I could do, industry, and not being afraid of like multitasking. But then once Orange ended, I stepped right into Shakespeare. So I did Shakespeare in the Park, did Much Ado, and played the lead in that. So I also was able to now not only be like, you know, because as we know in Orange, Taylor was the lead, who played Piper, and Tasty kind of was known for being one of the second leads or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know, because there's so many of us that kind of could take that position. But being in Much Ado, I got to show them that I can be a lead, leading lady, and I can do it speaking Shakespeare. So for me, it was like my next move, I made sure that it was different from what people know me to do. And I think that continues to help shape my career, because I think also it's like, what is your focus? Is it like, for me, my focus is to make sure that women that look like me are represented on multi levels. Like, I kind of look at it as a map in a way. This is just kind of how I analyze it, is, right? You already know Danielle as a Southern girl, right? Now I've played a character that was based in New York in a jail. Okay, you know that girl. But there are however many other states out there. Where's the South Dakota type chick? Where's the California type chick? Where's the girl from Maine? Where's the girl from Hawaii? Where's the girl from Texas? Where's the girl from wherever? Like, I just feel like I just want to be able to represent so many different colors of the person that I am, that could translate for people that might relate to me in a different way.
Right.
I want people to just see me and feel represented and know that I'm capable of just doing more than what you've seen me do. And that as a Black woman, we're more than what you think we are. And so, yeah, I think it's also just going back to the goal. Like, what is your goal that you want to achieve? Because people, they want to, you know, play the same thing and do the same thing. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of brings me actually to this question where you started off and you said, I mean, you knew from when you were little, you wanted to be an actress, but I don't see you as just an actress right now.
Definitely.
You have been doing so much, from acting in not only television, in film, in theater, but then you're also an inspiration to people. You're a role model. I love you. I just saw the things you did with Intuit, the little financial advice you were giving there. So what do you see now as your role? Like, what are you trying to achieve in this career? I mean, technically, if you want to sort of say, who is Danielle Brooks? You're sort of like, well, she's an actress, but you're a lot more than that.
I think for me, it's about legacy and what you leave. You know, I know when it comes to the acting, like I was saying, I definitely want to leave my mark on like someone like me being able to step into different roles that you never once imagined. And then with singing, like I did, you know, music, and I put out an EP and wrote a song called Black Woman. And
we know.
Oh,
we love it.
But that's also like what I want to leave my little girl to know, you know, that she's always beautiful, even if she hasn't seen herself or people, the way people talk about someone that looks like her, that she's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, when it comes to the clothing, it's like being plus size. I've been able to work with clothing lines, work with big designers. And that's also a part of like leaving legacy and knowing that we should be able to dress ourselves the way that we want to look, and not just with these like frumpy options that we're given. That we should be able to express ourselves through our clothing, you know. And then with the producing and all of these other things, it's like, what are you saying and what are you leaving? So legacy is, I think, the thing that drives me the most.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, a song like Black Woman means a lot to somebody like me. And just, it's kind of the thing we all want to say, but we don't. And we don't necessarily have the opportunity to. And it's amazing that you've used your platform, especially having a Black daughter, you know. Now, what has she taught you so far? I know it's only been a few months, but what has she taught you?
Girl, the lessons start the minute you see that test.
Right.
So it ain't only been the 4 or 5 months she been born. I've learned so much. The biggest one is patience right now. It's patience. I've never really been a patient person. So just the nights that she's up till 2, you know, waking up every 3 hours, and you know, you want to be frustrated, but you just you love this little one so much. And so she's just teaching me that just to be patient. And like when I was pregnant while I was doing Much Ado.
Wow.
And I think that biggest lesson there was really cool, because I learned to not take it so seriously. And so I just enjoyed so much that production, because normally I would freak out. I would be like, oh my gosh, there's 1,200. I don't know how many people. I think it's 1,200 in that theater. Might be even more. But 1,200 people watching me every night. I'm the lead of this show. Oh my gosh, there's so much pressure. You're speaking Shakespeare. You don't want to mess up. But then you realize you're growing a whole human being in your body. So you're like, why am I worried about if I say this line right? It's not that deep. So I got to enjoy that production. So that was a big lesson that she taught me. It's like, sometimes don't take everything so seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I've been watching A Little Bit Pregnant, okay, and there's some good gems in there for moms to be. But the most interesting part to me, I want to know, post-pregnancy now, does the labor stimulator that you hooked your husband up to, does it even compare to what you went through? I need to know.
Well, first of all, he thinks he knows now what I experienced. But to be honest, I ended up having an emergency C-section.
Okay.
So I did experience contractions, but I did not experience natural birth.
Right.
So it's kind of funny that he had to go through that with something that I didn't even have to go
and
through.
Then you didn't have to do it.
No, but the contractions, I actually feel like if I would have been given the opportunity to naturally give birth, I think I really would have done a great job, because I was pushing through those contractions. They were painful. Don't get me wrong, but the minute they stop, it just kind of goes away.
Right.
It kind of makes you feel like you have split personalities for when you have contractions, because when you're in a contraction, you're like freaking out. You're like, this hurts. But the minute it stops, you feel like yourself again.
Right.
But it was definitely, it was painful, but I could get through it though.
Right.
It was funny putting him through that. It was funny. He's a trooper.
Okay, so what do you think is next for you? Like, what are you hoping to achieve next? I mean, it might be for just tomorrow or like for the future, but what is next?
So what's next is continuing to take it day by day, being a new mom, because unfortunately I'm not with my partner right now. He is in Brooklyn and I am in South Carolina. So I'm doing the parenting thing solo dolo. It is a lot.
It's hard.
So, I say that because as much as we deal with career, and this is a podcast that is helping people to figure out their path and what they want to do, it's also good to remember, like, your normal life. Like, don't wrap yourself around your career all the time. Like, we are so much more than just what we do. And I just want to, drop that gem for people. But on the career side, just to keep pushing through and to break the mold when it comes to representation. I really, truly want to continue to be that girl that I wish that I would have seen more on TV and movies. So to be that person for someone else is important to me. So continue to do that. And hopefully I would really love to direct some things, particularly in theater. I do love TV and film, and I want to start with a short film and direct my own short film, which I should probably be working on during this time. I really, really should, but I really should.
You have a newborn.
Drop the gym on, but yeah.
I know. I was like, you have a newborn.
I know. I need to take it easy, but
hey, but you just spoke it into existence, so
yes,
now
I'm speaking it. I'm speaking it. But yeah, I think it's just keep the work going. Like, we are really the creators of our stories. So get the pen and start writing what I want my story to be.
Bars on bars.
You said something there. I wish I wrote it down, but it's on tape, so I'll listen to it later. But what advice would you give to someone who's coming up, who's like, yeah, I want to be an actor, and Danielle Brooks did it, so let's go? Like, what advice would you give to someone? And especially when you said, even in careers and stuff, there's this level of uncertainty sometimes, especially with the creative career, where, if you ask 4 different actors, you'll get 4 different answers of how they got there. It's not sort of the traditional jobs, doctor, lawyer, where it's like there's steps that you can take that you can sort of mark off and say, okay, did that, so I can jump to the next step. It's not really easy to sort of show that in terms of acting. Like, what sort of advice would you give to someone who's just starting out, who has the passion and wants to do it?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that question, because yesterday I was walking in the neighborhood and this kid came out of his house. He saw me walking. He was like, "Yo, you're the girl." I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, I want to be an actor." I was like, "Okay," and he's like, "What would you tell me?" I was like, "Okay, dude."
Right.
I said, it's different ways to get there. I told him the path that I had taken. And then I told him to study. You have to study the craft that you want to be a part of. You can't just say, I want to be the next Spielberg, but not know anything about, film or the way it works. You got to study, and get to know the business that you want to be a part of. And I'm still studying. Like, that doesn't end for me, just because I've been able to be in this business successfully. There's still things that I have to learn. So now that I want to be a director, I have to study directors. I have to study the craft, and so that's what I would say is, like, study your favorite actors. If that's Denzel, watch all his movies, and learn who he worked with and watch his interviews. If that's, Viola, do the same for her. If it's Lupita, I would just say study the people that you admire And then after you study, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. Like you got to find those people, and it might not necessarily be LA and, you know, New York, but maybe if you're in the South, maybe it's Atlanta, maybe it's Charlotte, maybe, and to also know that there's other avenues besides just acting. Like I think people always just kind of like go to that because it seems the most glamorous, but there's so many different paths. Like you could be a stage manager, or, you know, an assistant director, or, you know, just there's just other ways in. Right. And that might be actually more fun and less pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, in my line of work, I get a lot of interns come in, and it's like, they're going to be the next Marty Scorsese, you know, they're it, you know, and I feel like one thing, traditional universities and schools, like they never show you the real world, like how it actually is on a set. So a lot of these kids, they come out of college and they're like, I want to be Spielberg. Well, there's a rainbow of things you can do in filmmaking. You can be an assistant director. You can be an actor. You can be a set dresser. You can be a DP. And, you know, I think it's important for people, if they're coming into this business, to sort of, you know, get on a set, see what people do, and then find your way into it. There's no one path ever. There's always different roads to the same finish line, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I wanted to know, you talked a lot about surrounding yourself with like-minded people, and I wanted to know that for me is part of what abundance is. What does abundance mean to you?
That's a good question. And I think I've never actually thought about like what the word abundance means to me. But if I had to say, yeah, I guess it's when everything is aligning. When everything is aligning, like my spirit and my mind, my physical, I just kind of feel like a whole, like everything's just kind of in order. I think that's when I feel the most abundance. You know, I guess like similar to what you're saying, it's like when your family is good and, you know, you're not too crazed about work and your finances are straight and the baby's all right. And, you know, like I think that's when I can like feel like I'm living in abundance.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wow. That was a sermon. Yeah. I just left church. Danielle Brooks is amazing. And I feel like I had so many gems in that interview. I'm just going to go.
There were just so many little things that she said that you can just, and it's so simple, you know, it's never complicated. And I think that's something we can take away a little bit from this, is that sometimes we think, okay, great. So I need to like do this complicated thing. I need to go to this school. I need to go to this particular thing. I need to take this class. I need to, and sometimes like I remember, I loved her story about the audition where it's like, just be yourself.
Right.
Just do you.
Right. And you're going to fall flat sometimes. And I think it's about persistence, but also a lot of those really simple things, you know, don't underestimate the value of hard work. And if you want to do something, you got to study it. And that doesn't necessarily mean school. It means just checking out the work that you're interested in. You know, be a student of your own craft.
Right. You have to put in the work. Put in the work.
So many gems. Danielle Brooks. I love that she talked about her music because I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't know about her. And shout out to her songs and her message.
I don't think most people probably don't even know that about her, but her, I remember when I first heard that song, I text her right away. I was like, oh my God.
Right. Shout out to the dark skinned Black girls.
It's so good. So good.
Yes. So Anastasia, tell the people about yourself. This podcast, y'all, is edited and produced by Anastasia Folorunso. Okay. Don't you forget it. All right. Because she's not going to brag about herself. So I'm going to do it.
No, I do it for the love. I do it for the people. No, but you know, it's been a great learning experience. Like I feel it's so funny because obviously cannot go to work and I cannot work from home. My job doesn't allow that. You can't make, well, hey, there's a lot of people out there showing us that we can make TV shows from home, but in, you know, typically we work on a set, on a stage. So I haven't been able to do that. And this has sort of helped me get through that, where I'm constantly learning. I get to edit, I get to be the social media manager, I got to be the producer who's booking the guests. Like, it's a big process.
Plus your free time. Because it's gonna be me. I love you.
But it's been fun. There has not been a moment that has not been fun. And I think that's the most important part of it, that I've had fun throughout the whole process. And I hope you have fun listening to us have fun.
Yes. And music is by Esabalu. The song is Wildfire. It's available everywhere that you buy music. So go check it out. And that is my brainchild. So go give her a little listen.
Yeah, I hope you love our little again, maybe I'm biased, but it's totally summer 2020
it's a
soundtrack.
You're throwing it back.
Well, wherever we have found you, I hope you're doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you again next week.
Yes, thanks for listening. Bye, y'all.
So friends, we want to hear from you.
Yes, hit us up, please.
Do you have any questions about the podcast, how we're doing, how we made the podcast, questions about our guests?
What soup I'm making this week?
Anything, hit us up. So you can find us on Twitter at traditionalpod or on Instagram at non, and that's NONE_traditional.
Booyah.
We are also doing a little bit of writing. You can find us at www.nontraditionalcast.com. All of this will be in our show notes, so you can just look up our show notes, and all the links to all the places will be there.
Man, see you out there in the streets, the internet streets. Don't go outside.
Don't go outside. Wear a mask.